Welcome back to the channel, friends. We got some great news. One of my stockbrokers of choice, eToro, that I've been using now for a while and really been enjoying the experience, yesterday went public, which means it's now a publicly traded company and you can buy stocks in it the same way how you buy Apple, Google, or Amazon shares. You can buy now shares in eToro. So even if you're not using the platform as a broker, you could be potentially investing in them. So in this video, I want to go through, see what it means for investors, but also for users of the platform. So this has been in the making for quite a while. They even tried in the past to go public. You can see the first time was back in 2021 where they tried it. And then again back in 2025. Beginning this year, they did IPO preparations and kind of SEC filing, because it's a whole process, right? It's not just you say you want to go public, but it really takes time. And now, finally, mid of May, we went live. And that's really, really exciting and a big step, because this really changes a lot of things, right? If you're not familiar with the concept of IPO or initial public offering, basically, it's taking a private company. Like if you were to start your own company, you don't have to report to anyone, right? Maybe to the tax authorities and your accountants. But apart from that, you don't have to reveal publicly your revenues, your income, and so forth, in most countries at least. However, once you're a publicly listed company and you're trading, well, there is so much more scrutiny, oversight, auditing going on, and you have to reveal on a quarterly basis, at least in the US, your numbers. And that's really putting pressure on your performance, right? Because otherwise, if you're the main shareholder, you have a bad month, a bad quarter, who really cares? But now your shareholder will care, because if they see you dropping off in performance, they're going to go after you. So it puts a lot of pressure on them, but I think it's also good pressure. And another reason why this is really an amazing achievement is because there aren't really so many other stockbrokers out there that are publicly listed. One of the biggest ones in the world is, of course, Interactive Brokers. Yes, they have been stock listed for a while. For those of you in the US, of course, you will be familiar with Charles Schwab. It's also kind of a legacy broker, has been around for a while and they're stock listed. And of course, another one is Robinhood. Again, really predominantly focusing right now, at least, in the US. So beyond the US, a global stockbroker, I could really only think of Interactive Brokers at this stage. So this really makes it unique with eToro not being a US company, but at the same time really operating on a global scale. You can see 75 countries where they're operating in 20 languages and over 20 exchanges with 3.5 million funded accounts. So really quite impressive. And yeah, they listed on the Nasdaq, not on the New York Stock Exchange, because obviously you kind of have to choose your exchange where you're going to be listed. And it makes sense because it is kind of a tech heavy company, and most, sort of tech stocks, they traditionally list on the Nasdaq Stock Exchange. Now, as I said, it just went public yesterday, and congratulations for anyone who got in early, because in one day it moved up by almost, as you can see, 30%. Just incredible performance. Of course, a lot of enthusiasm right now. The markets generally are trending up, so they actually picked a good time to go public, because you don't want to go public, stock listed, when the markets are down, right? Naturally, your stock will also suffer, regardless of how good your service or company or offering is. So they really caught the wave there. But yeah, that's a really, really nice return. And yeah, if you were interested in buying it, you could just go on pretty much most stockbrokers by now. Of course, I'm here on eToro, and you can just look up ETOR. So that's basically the ticker symbol, and you would buy it like anything else, right? So even if you're not on the eToro platform, you can buy eToro on Interactive Brokers, Trading 212, wherever you want to buy, whatever is your stockbroker of choice, you can buy it over there. You can see right now, the market cap is only 5.4 billion, because it's still fairly new, just listed. So this still has a lot of room to grow. If I compare this to Interactive Brokers, they're sitting now at 22 billion. Now, granted, of course, Interactive Brokers is massively bigger, but yeah, more than 4 times the market cap. And if you were to compare it to Robinhood, they have a market cap pretty much 10 times the one of eToro. It's hard to compare apple to apple, but ultimately they are in a similar field and niche, right? So you can kind of put things together to look at it. Of course, we've only seen the first day of trading of eToro, so we'll see how it develops going forward. But yeah, I think it's really interesting to kind of also see this now very publicly, them coming up with the results. And well, look at this. It really pays off to be early. A company called Spark Capital invested really early on with 19 million investment. So this venture firm makes it eToro's largest shareholder, owning around 13% of the company. So together with the existing holding pre-IPO and the gain on the day of the launch, they added another 148 million to the value that they have in the company, which is just incredible, right? When you think about it, it just shows you it pays off to be early sometimes. It's still good to see the CEO retaining some of his shares, and now he will keep around just shy of 10% ownership in the company. For me, that's always important to have the CEO and founder of the company to really still be committed, right? You don't want them to kind of detach himself by having minimal ownership in the company. So I think that's really cool. And that's the CEO and founder over here, Yoni. I actually met him in person once at an event, and really very, very nice and smart gentleman over the last 18 years they were building up eToro from where it was in the beginning to what it is today. And so interesting, even when I started switching over to using eToro, I got a lot of backlash from people initially saying, yeah, but this is just some scammy platform and so forth, and it's not really trustworthy. Well, trust me, if you are now a stock listed company in the US worth $4 billion, chances are you're not really a scamming company, because this goes through meticulous testing, auditing, and you really got to do things right to be stock listed over there. It's not just anyone can list over there. It's a long, tedious process to get the approvals and so forth. So really kudos to them. And for me, that really solidifies eToro as a solid broker that I already recommended previously, but now really confidently can do just that. Because you're going to be in really safe hands with them rather than some other brokers registered on some exotic island somewhere without any auditing or real oversight. I think it gives a lot of credibility to them. And I mean, the numbers speak for themselves. Really quite impressive. eToro's 2024 financial highlights that I've seen over here. Total revenue, $12.6 billion, which is really quite impressive. And for me, the amazing thing was that 96% of that revenue, almost 12.1 billion, came from cryptocurrency. So that's for them super profitable and lucrative. In that way, they're definitely going to compete also with the likes of Coinbase, right? That make pretty much all their revenue from crypto trading and commissions. So yeah, overall, as a user of the platform, for me, this is really exciting, and yeah, just makes me want to use it more and more going forward. There's many things that I love about the platform, and I obviously made a couple of videos reviewing the platform, why I like it and why I can recommend it. You can watch it afterwards if you want. For me, definitely also one of the exciting things is the eToro Club. A lot of things and perks that I get with that, such as a free Delta Pro tracker, dedicated account manager, which is amazing. Basically, I have a person that I can reach out to discuss anything via WhatsApp or even Zoom calls. Really cool. FinChat access, Wall Street access. So really nice. Now, what it means for the platform, I think it's only going to get better, right? They're going to have to make improvements. They have to get more competitive to attract more users going forward. I think that's where a lot of growth will come from. We've seen they already have a couple of million users, but when we compare it to the likes of Interactive Brokers or Charles Schwab or any of the other big players, Robinhood, right? They're all scaling up and getting more users in. Now, I don't think the way forward is to necessarily increase the fees, right? That's also a way where you can increase your fees to be more profitable, but I don't think that's really sustainable, because once you increase the fees too high, then users just going to leave to some other competitors, because now we have more competitors out there, and I think we're going to see more stockbrokers and other cryptocurrencies potentially offering stocks. So those two will come together. It's going to be one service provider offering pretty much all the financial services. So that competition, I think, will drive prices down. So eToro and others, they have to compete by offerings, by interface, and of course perks, right? Like Robinhood has their Robinhood Gold program. eToro has the eToro Club, which is really attractive for investors. So I don't think the fees are going to go up way higher, because let's be honest, for crypto, they're already on the higher side, but I think they're going to really improve the offering, spread awareness to get more users on board, sign up new countries, as for example the UAE, where I'm based right now. They're really spreading the awareness over here. And if you do happen to watch this from the UAE, I have a dedicated link down in the description below, which you can use in the UAE only. I will give you $50 worth of free shares when you sign up using my link after you deposit at least $200. For anyone else interested in joining eToro, you can also use my second link that will give you access to a great online course that they're offering, plus of course all the other perks that you get with eToro. And no, this video is not sponsored by them. Of course, I am an affiliate of eToro, so if you use the link, it will definitely support the channel without any extra cost to you. And of course, I'm a user and believer in the platform, because I'm clearly using the platform myself. You can see here, that's my own hard-earned money, right? I wouldn't put it in there if I didn't trust the platform. And now with that news, with them being public, I even trust them more than I previously already did. By the way, I'm actually also considering becoming potentially, I'm still thinking about this, a popular investor. I never really followed that, but apparently it's a really popular concept that people on eToro like to copy other people, right? You see this over here, copy trader, and you can copy any other people. For example, you have this gentleman over here, the most copied person on eToro, right? With over 30,000 people copying him. And you can go in there and you can basically see what that person is doing. You can see his performance over time. He has updates over there. So really quite nicely done, actually, the statistics. So in a way, you're almost operating your own ETF that you set up. You can see the portfolio over here, what he's buying, what he's selling, and the statistics and performance, how much money he's managing. And you like his philosophy, you can just click on copy over here, send some money into your account, and then it will basically use that money and mimic his trades and moves. So quite interesting concept. So that's something I might be considering, because in addition to my 2 ETF holdings and 1 individual share, I am right now at a stage where I'm considering to add a couple of more individual shares. Now, I'm not saying I'm a stock guru, but I had people approach me saying, Guy, I want to see your portfolio. I want to kind of follow what you're doing. So I think that could be one of the easiest way to do that. So if you think that could be interesting, let me know in the comments down below. If I hear from a couple of you, I will definitely consider giving it a go. Now, with regards to investing into the eToro stock, personally, at this stage, I'm not going to do that. Of course, I would have wished to go in there pre-IPO, and still it's a little bit difficult. Not every platform offers you pre-IPO investments. Unfortunately, I hope we're going to see more of that in the future where you can actually participate in IPOs. Here, I did not have an option. If I did, I would have considered it, but right now, especially after the huge jump after the first day, I don't think we're going to see the next week continuous jumps like that. That would just be a little bit unreasonable, especially when we compare it to the likes of interactive brokers with way bigger user base. I think right now the valuation of 5 billion seems quite reasonable. So while I will continue using the platform, personally I wouldn't be investing right now into eToro, but again, you might see it differently and it could be a nice return. Ultimately, this is not financial advice. It's your money, your choice. But yeah, definitely very easy to invest if you wanted to, and definitely something to keep in mind, and I will follow it along closely myself. And of course, I'm very excited to listen to the first earnings call of eToro, because now that they are a publicly listed company, they have to present every 3 months their results, right? The income, their profits, where the revenue comes from, how it's composed, the outlook for the coming quarters and years ahead. So really, really interesting. You're going to hear from the CEO, the management board. You can use an app like Quarter, which is free of charge. You can listen to that. And yeah, really excited to do that, because that way you can also kind of see how the management board thinks, the direction they're going, right? How the revenue is composed of, how much is going to be crypto in the future, how much is going to be from trading. Maybe they're adding other asset classes as well, becoming a bank maybe one day, similar to what Robinhood is planning to do. So for me, that's always interesting. And of course, as an avid user of the platform, you're even more keen to kind of see the direction the company is taking. So I'll definitely keep you guys updated on the progress of eToro, how it's going, with any updates that are coming up, because I think it's an exciting space to watch. As you know me, I review a lot of different platforms and tools, and I think that's really an interesting one to watch. But overall, I'm really excited for it. For me, it really shows how mature eToro has become over the years. It makes it much more solid, trustworthy, and really a place where I feel comfortable keeping and growing my funds long term. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, helps out a lot. Next up, check out this video over here. As always, thanks for watching. Stay healthy, get wealthy, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.